Welcome to our social impact, brought to you by the Prison Scholar Fund. The PSF's mission is to provide education and employment assistance to help currently and formerly incarcerated people succeed and thrive in society, while avoiding homelessness and the revolving door of reincarceration. The PSF also advocates for reform in correctional education to increase opportunity for all. As a nonprofit, we rely on investments, volunteers, and are always looking for board members to champion our mission. Please connect with us through our website at prisonscholars.org, where you can find volunteer opportunities, make a contribution, and learn more about becoming a board member. You can also email us at info@prisonscholars.org and find us through most social media platforms at Prison Scholars. Become a patron by supporting us directly at Patreon with @PrisonScholars. We appreciate your review of this podcast through whatever platform you listen through. Without further ado, here's Dirk van Velzen, founder and CEO of the Prison Scholar Fund.
So once again, from Stiles Hall at UC Berkeley, we have Juan Flores.
Hey,
Welcome,
what's up?
welcome to our social impact. I think the first time I met you, even before I met you, I heard you did the Tough Mudder.
Yeah, correct.
Have you done that before? Is this your second one or
This
first
is my
one?
second Tough Mudder, yeah.
So was it that tough?
It was. I think it was a little bit more challenging. I did the Tough Mudder about 20 pounds ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I was much lighter. But I completed all the obstacles. Last time, this one, I fell on one of them.
What can you do? We're not 19 anymore.
No, I know. Sometimes I feel like I am still.
Well, that's the thing is like, after not doing stuff for a while, like your brain still thinks you're 19 because you can remember doing it, and then your body's like, man, what are you doing?
Well, I think I left prison like that, feeling like I was still a certain age, but I wasn't.
And so that's something kind of unique about us because you're at Berkeley, number one public university in the state of California. I did prison time too. We have a prison history, but we also have history of going from a really kind of fucked up environment to you're at one of the best schools. So how did that happen? I mean, that's like the dream. People dream to go to Berkeley.
So I've heard.
And here you are.
I've heard several times. I didn't aspire to go to Berkeley. I didn't know what Berkeley was. I think I aspired to just, I was not aspired, but more look forward to ending up in prison. That's where everybody was pretty much going.
That was like the norm in your neighborhood.
Yeah, that's the norm. Seems like it is for a lot of, marginalized communities.
Yeah, where'd you grow up? What part of town? What part of California?
In San Diego. I'm from San Diego, California. Okay. More specifically in the South Bay area. I'd say like between Borderline and Pearl Beach and San Isidro.
So kind of, what was your path to prison, if whatever you want to talk about?
My path to prison, dang.
Like maybe when did it start?
I started drinking at the age of 9. And tried, couple puffs of some marijuana, and then boom, became a full-fledged crystal meth addict by the age of 14. So
Yikes! Yeah.
So I think that pretty much that sealed it for sure.
That sealed the deal. Nail in the coffin, huh?
That sealed it for sure.
Were you just doing the drugs, or out there gangbanging too, or selling them?
I was over there just, running amok.
Yep.
Running amok, and it's surreal to be here now.
So juvenile time first, and then prison?
No juvenile time. I
kind of skated through all that.
I thought I was lucky, to be honest. My 18th birthday, I said, I remember telling one of the homies, I'm never getting busted. I was kind of cocky. And the same day, sure enough, I got busted.
18th birthday?
18th birthday.
Oh, shit.
And here we go to county jail.
Now you're an adult.
Yeah, for vandalism, commercial burglary, drunk in public, stuff like that. So that's pretty much, that right there pretty much, for sure, the system kind of just kept a hold on me.
Once you got out, just kept doing it?
Yeah, that was, it was, I was in and out for minor offenses until I caught some more serious offenses.
Kind of like me, probably a little bit life on the installment plan, just nickel and dime in your way.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it was very different. A lot of my most of the times I've been arrested, if not all, have always had something to do with the substance, whether it's alcohol or methamphetamines, things of that nature.
You're a go fast guy.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. So when you so you're doing a long term, what was your longest sentence?
I was sentenced to 40 months, so I was arrested for 211 and 245 with a deadly weapon, great bodily injury. I ended up signing for some strikes. I think someone else touched on this earlier. Someone coming from with no aspiration, no goals, not knowing, or not having the socioeconomic means to kind of like, afford a lawyer or be informed. Parents were already involved in a certain lifestyle. So not having the support, I was pretty much just feeding for myself. So I ended up signing for this joint suspension of 4 years. So I did this is like about 7 months. It was county year, county lid. So I ended up doing 6 months, 20 days, almost 7 months. Got out, probation. Probation's, I honestly preferred parole. Probation was kind of petty, very strict.
A lot of technical stuff.
Yeah, it was for sure like, it was like if I once I got off on parole, it was like, oh, well, you're already on parole. This is the highest. This is where this is it. The highest level of supervision. So I feel like the job of the probation officer was pretty much to, not assist you.
To assist you back in.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, I got 4 years hanging over my head, and I just got out and another violation for under the influence, got out, and then boom, I caught a commercial burglary from a store in my neighborhood, and they pretty much just gave my joint suspension, my sentence that had been suspended.
At 4 years.
Mm-hmm. So they gave me I ended up with 40 months after they took some time from doing county time and stuff like that. So
you do 85% of that?
Yeah, so they sentenced me to the 40. I did that. Maxed out.
Lost all the good time, just doing
for
shit
sure.
inside.
Just doing some.
You just gotta be a convict.
So I guess that's really where it took off. I was out on the streets. I didn't know better. Like there was no one that showed me a certain path. I just learned by watching.
Yeah, your family wasn't supportive with college wasn't an expectation.
No, college was definitely not an expectation.
Was it ever an opportunity for you? Do you ever think about it? Was it ever mentioned?
There was never an opportunity for me. I think I understand that even more now, especially how society and the government and all this, how society just works in general. But I didn't go. I didn't have. I went to school. We didn't have the best schools. Grew up in poverty. My father he was born in Tijuana, Mexico, but he was raised with my mom too. They were all raised in the city of the community of San Isidro, so they're from that area. And I grew up mostly towards Imperial Beach. So my father, he already lived in that lifestyle. By that lifestyle I mean what people what society or the state calls a gang. So he lived a certain lifestyle, as I did as well, and that kind of like obviously that didn't favor me. There was a lot of domestic violence, police violence, being raided by the cops, by INS, which is now ICE. So DEA, sheriffs, parole, probation, ATF. I remember these.
That's your baseline.
That's. I was like, okay, everybody's here except the CIA. I've never seen the CIA, but pretty much I can name all of them. So yeah, because my dad, he used to
the whole alphabet soup.
Yeah, my dad, he liked making money. That's all I can say for that.
Yeah.
And then when he got deported, I was like 12, 13 years old. So
So you're a citizen. You're born here, but he had to go back.
Correct. He was deported for about $20 worth of a substance, of a controlled substance, and then here you go.
Oh, they caught him for that, and then once they ran his name.
Yeah, they caught him. They arrested him. He did his time, and then they ended up deporting him. So that was when I was about 13 years old. So here goes my mom, a single mom, working to raise 3 kids on her own. Minimum wage was back then $6.75, $7.25. So you grew up in this trailer park, poverty, no male role models. There's drugs and whatever you want. The policing is still around.
So it's kind of a natural path to prison.
Yeah, basically, when you don't know better or you don't know different, I should say, it's just like when you have options, you're able to choose. You feel me? That's how I see it. And when you have the support, you're encouraged even to choose even just what you want to do. And I didn't have that, so here I am. Doing time.
So all of that sounds pretty natural from that situation. So what happened? What changed in you? Was it when you're doing time?
No.
That's the fascinating part.
Shoot, I guess I paroled with $200 in my pocket, nowhere to go, homeless to the streets with expectations
the old gate money
to make to make it. I don't know how the hell.
We get 40 in Washington, so you're doing good down here.
I'm better. Well, by the time I got to San Diego, I had about $80 or less.
Yeah.
So I didn't have
what are you supposed to do with 80, right?
Sure.
Or 200 even?
Especially me, I had lost all contact from my family. I went back to my neighborhood where they embraced me.
Yeah, because now you're legit.
Yeah.
You're in your stripes, building your resume.
Nah, I wasn't like that, but I was just mostly on the mellow side when I was incarcerated. But I just I went back to the neighborhood. I had an address, but my parole officer he was a dick, so I know they ended up telling me that he went over and he was just pounding on the door too hard and I couldn't stay there no more. So my only address that I had, he kind of like fucked it off for me. So here I am, on the streets again, getting high, banging. Just not doing nothing with my time, aside from just drinking and getting high. But then, I think the consumption of methamphetamine kind of led me in a different direction, and I don't know, something clicked. I know something had to have clicked, I know I asked my parole officer that I needed some help, right? He said, what kind of help? And because he went to see me when I was busted. And I was just like, some help, like I'm trying to like rehab or some shit.
Just something. What's out there?
Yeah, something. So he ended up taking me for the third time to a different program. Each time was a different program. And I ended up staying at this behavior modification program or therapeutic community.
So this time the probation officer is actually helping.
Yeah, this parole officer was, very, very, very supportive. I was shocked and surprised.
Instead of just violate you, throw you back in.
Yeah.
He's like, here's some programs we got.
Yeah,
some of them resonated with you. You could do them.
Yeah, he knew I was high because I told him I'm high. I just need a program. He said, boom.
Yeah, I'm high as fuck, man.
Yeah,
I gotta do something.
So that was about it. So I ended up staying in this program for 2 years, total of 2 years. That's there was a lot of more funding then than there is now for people coming home. I think people I don't know, but some individuals might think like, oh, they're doing things for formerly incarcerated folks. Well, not entirely. This program, I know that I still go there to this day. I go visit. It's in Vista, California, and I know that the funding is not there no more. So I know that I'm an example of what can happen if you're given the
program,
the program, the support, the services, the resources to move forward.
And what was that program called?
It's called the Amity Foundation.
Okay, Amity?
Yeah, Amity Foundation.
Okay.
So it's a therapeutic community, and they have they're in Tucson, Vista, and Los Angeles. I think they have another location. But yeah, so I stayed there for about 2 years. The demonstrators are what they call them, not counselors, because they demonstrate.
Okay.
They demonstrate by going to their job every day.
By example.
Correct.
Okay.
They lead by example.
And is that easier to deal with instead of just someone telling you what to do or talking at you for hours? They're kind of doing it with you.
Yeah, they're doing it with you. They listen to you. They talk with you. They have these conversations. They kind of like they spark these. They give you these little golden nuggets, and then you do what you want with it. And at that time, I dropped out of high school in 9th grade. I went back, but then the dropping out, I didn't finish. So I started going to school. for my high school diploma, and
You get that under the belt?
Hmm?
You get that under the belt?
yeah, I got. I said, yeah, nothing against no one on the GED, but I just felt like I could do my high school diploma, and so I did that. So I did that, um, and while I was in that program, there was this professor from Cal State San Marcos who came over. He would give classes with another professor, Dr. Glover, and he would give these classes. And the first book that they gave me, "Our Prison's Obsolete," by Angela Davis.
Angela Davis, I heard her speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So it's in while I was busted, the first person who ever gave me a book that I actually read and completed was my homeboy, from my neighborhood. But it was just like one of those quick reads. It was nothing that would would help you later on, aside from just like reading, grammar, English, etc. So I read this, I'd been reading this book, and it got me to think. It really did. It got me to think. So working full time by then, graveyard shift, trying to get my high school diploma. I did that. Graduating from Amity program, with owning my own vehicle, with a place to go. I decided to continue to pursue my education, and here I am at Palomar College. I thought I was the only one there, and someone else that were formerly incarcerated. I mean, you can kind of tell if you look at me. I mean, I have tattoos. So I'm at community college. I don't know what I'm gonna do there. I spent 3 years there.
You just kind of following this path. Like it sounds like you're just kind of drifted there into yourself, or do you have mentors helping you get there?
No, oh yeah, most definitely. I have mentors throughout. From Amity, who I still continue to.
So that's really supportive of you.
Very supportive.
Oh, cool.
They've been to some of my graduations. Ozzy, Sergio, the homie Miguel, Dr. Santos. There's a lot of individuals that have helped me throughout my whole process, my journey, and I've been very blessed to have that. I know that if my homies or other individuals like myself had that, I know they'd be right here and right next to me, So I really do appreciate the opportunity that I've been given, and I only hope that I'm making the best out of it. So here I'm at community college. I don't know. I just start getting involved, and I grew a passion. First, it was like, I'm being affected by certain obstacles I have to overcome by society or whatever, and after I start reading more, learning more, I found that, obviously my issue, there's other issues too, that have affected me, that affect other individuals. So I just started getting involved in anything and everything that I can do to give back to the community.
I find that a lot. There are a lot of people that went through this, this kind of crucible of really a whole lot of shit, and they kind of turn themselves around. They really do a lot of giving back.
Yeah, I did a lot. And I'm being modest when I say that. I was involved when I was in my program, at Amity, I started, I was working full time, going to school full time, but every Saturday I would make sure I'd volunteer, and I would volunteer at this women's shelter, women who were who experienced domestic violence, so they were their kids. So we would, set up the table, clean, and serve them, the meal. So it was a humbling experience. I started doing that. I know my mom was also someone who experienced domestic violence.
Is that why you volunteered there, because of moms?
I think at the end of the day, yeah, that makes sense for me. But I honestly, I like just being involved.
Okay, just helping out in some way.
Just helping out. And
that's your community. You want to
yeah,
help your community.
Wherever I'm at, I always have to be. I feel like I have to be hands on, and so yeah, I take the initiative, or at least I try, and I always go and do something to help out instead of just read a book or a paper. I find it fulfilling. But so yeah, in community college, I did some programs here and there. Got involved, with tutor. Started going to speak to these to youth who were in JCCS, so juvenile court schools, basically. Started talking about my experience and where I was at. Just trying to encourage them and let them know, like, it's possible. Hopefully I'll find the resources and the support. So that's basically how I did it while I was there, in a nutshell.
So you got community college nailed down. You got your AA.
Yeah, I got my sociology and psychology, social and behavioral science, and general studies. I had like 3 or 4.
So did like a little bird land on your shoulder and say, "Hey, there's this place called Berkeley. Why don't you give it a shot?"
It's funny because, man, my life if I would just one word, it's funny, because through me being involved and being in these spaces, I was speaking at, I had spoken at Cal State San Marcos with one of my mentors, Dr. Juan Santos, and so I connected with him, and through the connections, I was invited to one of his classes, and that's where I ran into the homie Flaco and the homie Danny Murillo.
Okay. I knew a guy named Flacco years back. Wonder if it's the same one. Who knows?
Probably. So I'm right here in Dr. Santos' class, and we're having this conversation, and then okay, so I don't know who's who or what. So after we decide to go in and we have some lunch, and then Danny just goes on one.
And Danny's just amazing.
Yeah, he's great. He just started talking all this stuff, and I was like, what the hell? I didn't quite understand at the moment. I think I had to go home and process it more, but I really was surprised and shocked that he said that there's a handful of us up at Berkeley. And I was like, what? So I started looking up, and that was a crucial moment, because at that time I was going to start applying to UCs. So my heart was set on Santa Barbara. But at the end of the day, I do acknowledge that I felt alone. I felt like I really struggled at community college, not having that support. So I said let's do it. So I ended up applying to UC Berkeley, and then a year later, months later, when I got accepted, I texted Danny. I said, hey, I got in, and boom, he inserted me into a group chat, and that's where my other journey began.
So what did that feel like, getting into Berkeley? Did you know the stigma? Like, you know the rankings, all that good stuff?
Nah, I don't know none of that. I didn't know what deviance or stigma or all these big words. Like, there's a lot of things that I still have yet to learn.
It's just the next step. Okay, community college got that.
Yeah, I got that.
At a UC school, why not?
Yeah, but I didn't know anything about Berkeley, like research. I don't know none of that. I don't know how to navigate these spaces. Like the population is very different. It was basically like it was a culture shock, because in San Diego there was more brown folks. Up here there's more Asian, white folks, less of us, and it's very different. The dynamic, the professors, it's a very different dynamic here in Berkeley. I ended up getting waitlisted, and when I got that, I got into all the schools that I applied to, all the UCs for sure.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
That's a lot of opportunity.
It's a lot. It feels good to have. I was able to choose.
Yeah, you actually have choices. You could decide where you want to go.
I did. Some people might get mad about this, but San Diego. I mean, I was there. San Diego. I was
Nothing
like,
wrong with UCSD.
I was like, nah, not UCSD. And then I got an acceptance letter from UCLA. I was like, hell nah. But because of the traffic, I was like, man, forget that. And then I never been to Berkeley. And I just said, I ended up obviously choosing Berkeley.
Let's take a crack at this one.
And then it was like, damn, there's hella traffic here too. So, it's crazy. But I got waitlisted for Berkeley. I know that probably hindered my application because there was a whole section I didn't complete. And at that time, I know I was very frantic. I didn't know anything. No one really helped me aside from one person. So it was a lot. It was a lot of stress. I didn't know how I was gonna how I was gonna pay for college. So I was also at the same time applying for a lot of scholarships. I had stopped working for about a year already because I assumed that if I would make too much money, I'd get less money for school. So I don't know. There was a lot of things I did that, don't make sense now. But when I received the wait list, I was mad, to be honest. Mad and kind of like let down. Like, I felt that I really put my heart and soul into the work, like working with my community, changing my life around, doing what society deems positive. And I felt like I felt left down. I felt left down. and I was mad, and I was like, man, fuck Berkeley, for real. I was
Yeah.
like, fuck Berkeley, but behind something inside me still wanted to find out, like, can you get in though?
Yeah.
Can you get in? So I said, fuck
Keep
you.
pushing.
I SIR'd for UC Santa Barbara, but I appealed.
Appeal to
Not
wait
appeal.
list.
It's not an appeal. It's basically they want to know a little bit more, like why you should get in. So they give you a prompt. It was about 700 words, something I had to write, and I wrote why this. I guess. Well,
You got
why
all
I would be a good fit, not deserve. That's
Okay.
not the word, because I didn't do that. It says why I deserve, not deserve. Why I was a good fit for Berkeley, and how it kind of it would compliment me. I would compliment Berkeley. It would compliment me.
That's a good prompt. What'd you say?
Well, I said a lot. I basically
Yeah,
said that.
700 words.
I basically said that. I turned everything, all my flaws into strengths, and I continue to move ahead, even though it was extremely hard for me with no one no one to help me really, aside from my mentors who kind of helped me along the way. But before that, I was very lost.
Kind of rolling solo on this.
Yeah, but obviously I'll never take credit. At least sole credit for being where I'm at. Because it was a lot of work from a lot of people that supported me. So here we go. I'm in Mexico. I was traveling. I was in Mexico, and boom, they told me I got into Berkeley, and I was stressing. It was a good stress though, because I really want to go. I still do to Santa Barbara, and. I was like, man, hopefully Berkeley rejects me, because I know I'm gonna be stressing trying to decide which one. So I get into Berkeley, and I'm like hella happy or whatever, and I just start weighing everything. I start looking into the institutions, who I want to work with, what I want to do, and then honestly, it came down to like where are you gonna feel you have more support, and it came down to being at UC Berkeley with the underground scholars.
And how did you find out about them?
With Danny.
Yeah, Danny. Yeah.
With Danny in that class. But so I got in, I applied and everything, and here I am. I drove up here, not knowing anything. The first time I left San Diego, aside from going to Tijuana, which is right next door, was on a bus to state prison.
This is really the first time out of your hometown.
Correct. This is I just said,
Going to the big city of Berkeley.
let's go, let's do this. I was like, there's nothing gonna stop me. So here I am, I did this wait list, I got in, and so I come up here, I apply for housing, not through an institution because it was already too late, but in the city of Berkeley, and here I am again, like, wait list. I was like, man, fuck Berkeley, they didn't let me in. And then here I am, I get in, so I was like, okay, everything's good now.
I'm in, right?
I'm in, everything's good, and then boom, I found a spot that's perfect for me. It's reasonable price. It's good because it's expensive out here, and I met everybody. I went through this application process that students themselves have to see if you're going to be a good fit for them to be a housemate. So everything was good to go, and I applied, and they put my name on the lease, and what do you know? I got denied housing because of my criminal record.
Ah.
So here I am at Berkeley. I don't know what I was gonna do.
Living in your car?
No, luckily I continued to hustle. I mean, if you're from the streets, you hustle.
You'll find
you've been in prison, you're gonna hustle. You'll make nothing into something. As just as underground scholars is a prime example of from basically from no support and no resources to here we are, and so I connected with a friend of mine. He's actually from San Diego, and I connected with him. And he said, yeah, I'll give you a spot.
Oh, so what year are you now at Berkeley?
This is my senior year, so this is my third year, actually.
Okay.
So, I had a rough start. I mean, the housing's one of them. When you come from a certain lifestyle, formerly incarcerated, I sit down and I thought about what does that mean? Well, for some people, it means a conviction, and that stigma. For other people, it's not only the conviction, the stigma, but it's this lifestyle that you come from, So I was here, and then one of my good homies passed away
Sorry to hear
in
that.
mid-semester. And then, so I'm just like, it's part of the lifestyle, like that's what happens sometimes. You live a certain way, and it happens, sadly it does.
It catches up.
So that was a little. It wasn't expected. Rest in peace to my homie. And so I struggled. I was overwhelmed. My first semester coming in college didn't prepare me for this. I feel like it was because Berkeley is more rigorous. The writing, I really struggled. The reading is so dense. It's like super dense.
I know what you're talking about.
So
Have to read a paragraph like 5-6 times.
even then,
Yeah, it's like, what the hell?
even then, I
I've had
wouldn't.
some rough ones,
I was
man.
like, what did I read? So yeah, I mean, my homie passes away. So the end of the year comes, I end up with like what did I end up with? A minus, I think a B plus, and like another B plus or something. So I managed to do good.
Pretty good GPA.
I managed to do good. And then here we are next semester, and I was like, I'm ready. Here we go. Ain't nothing coming my way, like I got this. And so we're now we folks from Underground Scholars set up something with one of the professors. Shout out to Dr. Harding for establishing the first, I believe, in the nation, formerly incarcerated research cohort.
Very cool.
So we start working with Professor Harding, and he starts, basically mentoring us and helping us, with, giving us some for some of us like jobs, paid research positions, and for some of us, or all of us, like that support, that mentorship. So that started in spring 2018. Everything was set up, everything was good to go, and yeah, like I said, this lifestyle is a tough one. So come February, my mom calls me, and I'm at the house, and I'm at the house, and one of the homies was with me, and she just told me, hey, they killed your dad, so I'm
Yeah,
so here I'm
sorry.
yeah, but that's what I said when I kind of touched on it earlier. Like for some of us, like convictions, but for a lot of us, we experience death. There's experience of death, overdoses or being killed or shot, whatever. So yeah, my father, he was killed along with two other people.
Was that in Mexico still?
Yeah, Tijuana.
That's a violent town.
Yeah. So I went down there, managed like some of the funeral, cremation arrangements, had to transfer his body, do a lot of stuff, identify the body, etc. And I came back like I flew back twice, back to back every other week, twice in a month, to do the paperwork, and then again for the service. I came back like nothing. I swear, I was like, all right, here we go, back at it again, because for me at least, it's like normalized. You get used to this, So I come back, and I'm ready to go, and I sit down, and I can't read, I can't write, I can't do anything. I think it hit differently.
Hard to concentrate.
It hit very differently this time. It took a toll on me. Thought about dropping out just to take a semester off. I kind of consulted some other students, and they said for some students is once they pretty much leave for a semester, they're less likely to come back. So I said, I'm almost done, a couple more months.
Stay on the gas.
I guess I stayed on it, and I don't know how, but I managed. Again, I did end up dropping, I think, 2 classes. I could only
Line
do
the
2.
load a little bit,
Yeah.
push through.
So I did that, and everything went well. I mean, I'm still here,
Almost done.
almost done. Just 2 more semester and a half.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
You're going to walk pretty soon.
Yeah, again.
So what's next for you, man? Your heart's in the community, sounds like. That's
Yeah, that's
kind of built into you.
Yeah. Well, I like to look at. I started to do research, yet I still don't know what that means. But when my first summer, which was after a couple months after my dad's death, I applied for this fireball research program, and I started doing research. So it gave me a taste of my research.
Yeah, I saw that in your LinkedIn profile. I think the
Oh,
fireball something. I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, it's a fireball. So it's a research. So kind of like to get your feet wet, basically, to help you do research. So I focused on. For me, it was shocking, amazing. It was like something totally different when I came to Underground Scholars.
Yeah, what does research mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah, research. So I just did research. Like I interviewed individuals.
That's research.
So I interviewed individuals. I started writing something, and it's something that fascinated me, that interests me, And so my research, this one focused on Northerners and Southerners.
Interesting.
So norteños and sureños,
Yeah.
though they do not meet the same. Let me just say that clearly. So I looked at how is it that, these two groups who are at least painted by society, or who also have this quote-unquote rivalry while incarcerated and on the streets, are able to work together. So I did research on that with individuals in the space of the Underground Scholars. So that paper is still in the process, but
You might be published.
I hope so.
That'd
If not,
be cool.
I'll publish it myself.
Yeah. Put it on Amazon.
Let's get this information out because I find some interesting stuff.
That'd be cool if you got it in a journal.
Obviously, with the support of resources, the being around individuals, like-minded individuals, or people who you can relate to, I found that kind of obviously that helps, and it's something that continues to help you throughout your journey.
Can you share it? I'd love to read it.
Sure. When I'm done writing it,
Yeah.
it's a process, especially when you're an undergrad that doesn't know anything. So I'm managing my way. So yeah. But currently I'm working on another. I'm doing the honors, the senior honors thesis program for my department in sociology.
So does your GPA have to be a honors student?
At least 3.5, and I got in, and I'm happy to be in the program. So now I'm looking at how. These gang policing tactics actually produce and reproduce criminality, and how they fragment communities.
Interesting.
So that's where I'm at right now. I'm barely in the preliminary stages, but at the end of the day, I want to look into that kind of will hopefully lead me into kind of conceptualizing a term that doesn't refer to individuals as gang members or former gang members, because I feel like for some of us, at least for me, I'll speak for myself, and I feel like I can speak for some individuals. This is not just like, we're not just what they say. You have these quote unquote gang members in these institutions, and some of us we still have that connection, whether it's emotional, mental connection to our homies back in our neighborhoods, who we now understand, or at least I do, through my research and through scholarships and books and articles, that these are individuals who are really just targeted, and they're discriminated against, not just having these convictions, but also the way they dress, the way they group together, certain things. So hopefully I'll be able to conceptualize a new term that refers to individuals in a more humanizing way, and that's to come, hopefully.
Because we all are just people, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So what do you want people to know?
That we're out here.
Yeah.
We're pushing through,
You're making changes.
and whether it's research, whether it's in policy, there's a lot of individuals doing great work, amazing work, and I know there's more to come, with more individuals like us coming in who understand these, who have experienced, the incarceration, or, being policed, or, anything that has landed you to be, incarcerated and be affected by incarceration in society as in general.
So what happens after the bachelor's degree? Going for a master's? You want to be a doctor? PhD maybe?
As of right now, I'm shooting for a PhD in sociology. However,
That's heavy.
Yeah, it's
That's
a lot of work.
That's a lot of school.
It's a lot of work. So I don't know. But I'm also thinking about ethnic studies, a PhD in ethnic studies, and maybe I just want to take a class and see if I actually like law, because I know I can. There's a lot to be done in that sector. But honestly, at the end of the day, like honestly, I don't know. It's still up for debate. I still got a year to apply to grad school.
Like a lot of undergrads, you're still kind of exploring,
Yeah.
see what's out there.
Yeah, I rather work with community. You know, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's been about the money.
Well, Juan, you're on the radar. We're gonna have to follow you. So what are
Oh,
you doing?
by who?
On my
By
radar.
the cops? Yeah. Dang, that's kind of it's kind of.
They're all done with you. Unless you
it's-
come and talk to them about what to do right.
Yeah, I'm researching their tactics, so I best believe I'm gonna be publishing that
Yeah.
for sure.
What do they know, right?
Yeah.
They're just messing things up.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's basically it. PhD is next, or JD. I don't know, whatever. I mean, I didn't have options before. Now it's like I'm overwhelmed with options and
Yeah.
opportunities. So I'm just like I'm undecided, but
That's a good spot to be in.
a very good spot
Yeah.
for sure. It's a good dilemma to have. Very blessed to have this dilemma.
So you got more Tough Mudders ahead of you too?
Oh yeah, more Tough Mudders. Maybe a Spartan race.
Have you done the Spartans yet?
I haven't done it.
It's
but-
totally different. You got to carry some shit.
Well, pues, well, as of right now, I'm still in training, so you know I'm trying to live this healthy lifestyle in all aspects of my life.
I'll run with you.
Yeah.
I actually kind of more walk and jog. So.
Oh, that's what I need because I'm not at that.
Yeah.
I'm not fast, so I'm
All
not
right.
fast.
Juan, it's a pleasure.
Thanks
Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to what you do next.
Thank you. Appreciate it.